In 1898, George Hewlett and John McMyler secured a patent for an improved ore loading and unloading apparatus. It was renamed the Hulett Iron Ore Unloader. Measuring 108 feet in length, 19 feet wide, and 96 feet tall, with bucket capabilities ranging from 10 tons to 22 tons. The Huletts were massive machines. Built in 1912, the Cleveland and Pittsburgh ore dock, now called Cleveland Bulk Terminal, was equipped with 4 Hulett unloaders, a stocking and rehandling bridge, 6 electric shunting locomotives for moving hopper cars, a powerhouse, and a 1 million ton capacity ore storage yard. A office and machine shop were added later. Each unloader consisted of 3 sections: a movable framework mounted on rails that could travel the length of the dock. The framework extended from the edge of the water over to the ore storage area. On top of the main framework was a trolley on rails. A walking beam, bucket support beam, and the bucket were attached to this trolley. Up and down movement of the bucket were accomplished by cables that ran between the walking beam and the trolley. A movable lorry was located underneath the frame. It could travel from the water's edge to the ore storage area. Its purpose was to dump ore into waiting hopper cars or the storage area. It was loaded from a receiving hopper located at the front of the frame. 2 people could operate the entire machine. One operator ran the lorry, while the other operator was stationed in the beam just above the bucket. Both standard gauge and special 42-inch narrow gauge tracks ran under the Huletts. They were arranged so that one narrow gauge track was between a pair of standard gauge tracks. Small electric locomotives called shunt cars ran on the narrow gauge tracks. Equipped with air-operated side arms, they were used to push the standard gauge ore cars underneath the Huletts so they could be loaded. Each locomotive was able to handle 10 to 12 empty ore cars or 6 loaded cars at a time. Electrical conductors between the narrow gauge rails supplied power to the locomotives. To make sure all of the ore was removed from the ship, front end loaders were chained to the bucket and lowered into the ship's hold so they could scrape up the last of the ore and dump it into the bucket. With good crews, the 4 Whiskey Island Huletts could load an ore train in just 3 or 4 hours, whereas it would have taken all day using previous methods. In the 1970s and 80s, self-unloading iron ore boats became more common, and the Huletts moved their last loads in 1992. They sat on the docks for years while people decided what to do with them. In 1993, 2 of the machines were designated a Cleveland Historic Landmark. In 1997, they were placed on the National Register of Historic Places. And in 1998, they were designated a Historic Mechanical Engineering Landmark. All 4 Huletts were dismantled in 2000 by the Cleveland Port Authority to enable development of the island. The two safe huletts were stored on the west end of the island so they could be reassembled, but that has not yet happened. If you enjoy our videos, click the like button, ring that notification bell, subscribe to this channel, join our Facebook and Twitter pages, and keep up with what's going on. You can also help keep this train moving by becoming a Patreon supporter. Links are in the description.